Well, hey guys, so how are you doing? So, this is gonna sound really nerdy, but this is just something I just really thought through and decided. I'm gonna be. I don't think I'm like gonna give up my old religion because we'll explain that later. But I'm I'm being part. I'm gonna convert to a new religion that I call Neon Genesis Evangelion, and it's from an anime I watched called Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now, before you just think I'm nutcase, just like listen to what I have to say, because I mean it's like I know you think it's gonna be like all mystical and stuff, but it's really not that way at all. So, see, pretty much what Neon Genesis Evangelion is about is it's about these people, and they're fighting these things called angels, and they're all like, oh, being all emo and stuff, like, oh, what's the meaning of life and all that stuff, and they're all depressed because they just can't find the meaning of life and all that stuff. But anyways, at the end, and they're like, how to be happy, like what is like a good life, and like they're confused because they're fighting things like angels, like is this right or wrong, even though the angels are killing them and stuff. And they're also just, they're like, what is the point of life, and trying to figure out with all these concrete things. But in the end, pretty much what it is, what they decide is, it's like, who cares, like, what the meaning of life is? Like, one, there's a pretty good likelihood that there's really no higher power or anything. And even if there is, it's like, the thing is, it's like, there's no real, can there even be, like, any meaning of life? So anyways, what the main character finally decides is he's like, the meaning of life can be whatever you want it to be. You don't need to reach for all these higher goals. Like, there doesn't have to be a predetermined meaning. So anyways, that's kind of what I think about. Like, it's like, so, a lot of people have come to this conclusion. They're like, oh, if there's no meaning for life, I might just be depressed. But I mean, I honestly think that's completely ridiculous. Because, see, here's the thing. Just because there's no predetermined meaning of life, or they become, like, just only caring for themselves and stuff, and I also think that's ridiculous. Because just because there's no predetermined meaning of life doesn't mean that it has to be meaningless. I mean, if there is no predetermined thing, then who says you can't just decide? I mean, if there's nothing predetermined, like, who just says you can't just be like, alright, this is how I'm gonna live my life, this is what I think is important? Like, I'm not living my life by any higher goals or anything, I'm just, like, living my life by what I logically think is right. Like, I'm not gonna hurt anyone, I'm not gonna ruin I'm pretty much what I've decided, which logically seems the best to me, is just live how I will be happy and how I will be happy in the long term, and admitting the truth, like not hiding from stuff, and not doing things that are gonna hurt other people's lives, because like, why should I hurt their lives? If I can still be happy in my life. Like, I mean, I just think it would be logically better if more people were having a good time. And so the thing is, like, I still have all the same morals that I had before. Like, don't kill anyone or harm anyone, but that's not because I think there's anything just fundamentally wrong. It's more logically wrong. Like, why should you want other people to be having bad lives? I mean, it is good if everyone's enjoying themselves. And I think, like, trying to like, I think everything is good. Science is good, religion is good, art is good, because, the thing is, like, if you're doing this, I mean, you might as well find something to entertain yourself with. while you're living here, like, because, religion teaches lessons, gives us interesting things to think about, of how to live life and stuff, science. I mean, it's very helpful for living, and it's interesting. I mean, art, that's interesting. But I think what gets in the trouble is when people use these things, and often it's even unconsciously, to try to find some kind of thing that they think's the predetermined thing in life. Because, people are uncomfortable with the fact that there may be no predetermined meaning or anything, that it might just all be random. And so they try to cling to the things they do to try to find some kind of meaning in life. And I think this can come in any form. Like, it comes in science form, like with all, when people do horrible science experiments for the sake of science, even though it hurts animals or people and stuff. Crazy religious groups like ISIS, or, like conquisted, or, like the European colonial powers a long time ago, who, like, think that this religion's the meaning of life, so, it doesn't matter if they, like, do horrible things for the sake of it. Heck, like, I mean, like, Nazism and stuff, nationalism, like, they so think that this like, nationalism will be a predetermined, it's just such a high goal that they, like, forget, just basic sanity towards humans and just treating people right. And even there's smaller examples, like people who rip people off to get a bunch of money and stuff, and, like, it's, and they have more than they even need, but they just think it's because, oh, this is the goal, to get money and stuff, even though they really don't even need the stuff they need or even use or want the stuff they have, when they could be ripping people off, not ripping people off, I mean, and, like, still getting what they want, and other people getting what they want. And, I mean, I just think, it's good to think, but I think once you think too hard about stuff, it gets, it's really just a lost cause when you try to find this predetermined, it's like exact specific meaning of life kind of thing, and you just forget, I don't know how I'd say it, but I think maybe what you really want. Like, I don't know if all these people involved in these things actually really want all these things. I think maybe what they really want is just, enjoy life, make it so others can enjoy life, and they just, they just want to make it so they can enjoy life, so other people can enjoy life, and they just think too hard about it and strive for these far-off goals they think they need to be striving for some kind of meaning of life, when they think too hard about these things and just forget what they really want. And I think if we all just thought about what we actually wanted, I mean, of course there are some, honestly, like, psychopaths and sociopaths, but I think most of us, if we just thought of what we really wanted, this world would be a lot better and smoother of a world.